Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah. A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to some more HJN content here on the channel, and more importantly, welcome back to Marque of the Line. This is basically the third last day that I got right now, and as a result, let's get on by talking a little bit about one last French company out there, Bugatti. So, Bugatti Motors. It's something that many people already know about, as Bugatti had basically revolutionized the supercar and even hypercar marketplace by basically creating the Veyron in 2005. And man, was that thing just powerful. A special key was utilized to turn on the car's power, but also provides some of the most powerful partitions of the engine's components to allow the car to thrust more than 300 miles per hour. And man, I mean, if you could basically find any sort of car out there that just so happens to be way more powerful than just that thing, well, it's probably debatable at this point. There's a lot of contenders out there, like the Lamborghini Veneno, McLaren P1, and then of course you got yourself the SRT Tomahawk series, with the X being the fastest in all of Gran Turismo, pretty much. But if it ever comes out in 2035, like it said back then, especially when talking about Gran Turismo 6, when in 2015 was when they introduced these concepts that were slated for release in 2035. If they're actually real, then man, we have an even bigger revolution out there. I mean, that is absolutely insane. The way that the X can travel more than 500 kilometers per hour or 400 miles per hour, it's just insane. That makes it even faster than the Bugatti Veyron or most other contenders in the whole wide world. Assuming if that ever comes out. But going back to Bugatti. The beginnings are not necessarily as fondly remembered as more recent years, especially when talking about the 90s and 2000s, with the Bugatti EB110 being, well, another well-known model out there way back in the day. But in terms of how the Veyron's legacy is pretty much unfolded in more recent years, it still has pretty much held its place on the podium of being one of the fastest supercars slash hypercars in the whole world. But more recently, we actually got ourselves a bit of an upgrade. A new generation variant of the Veyron called the Chiron. The Chiron is indeed a redesigned variant of this exact model. But it is in fact for an all-new generation, as it did come out a couple years ago. And then of course we have ourselves a new concept out there called the Divo. That's D-I-V-O, not D-E-V-O, like the New Wave band of the same name. So, just to offer a little distinction, pretty much. Otherwise, Bugatti is still one of the greatest that the world has ever seen. Mostly because of the way that they've managed to manufacture such powerful vehicles like that. It's still pretty incredible to say the least. But in terms of how they're going right now, I could say for sure, they might see bigger success as time goes on, and also, maybe new models other than the Chiron and Divo are going to be coming alongside the others. So, that's probably all I'm going to be able to talk about right here based on Bugatti in itself. Its history is pretty lengthy, and its model lineup is certainly not quite as big as most others, but man, does their performance make up everything pretty much. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment. So, that's all I gotta say about that. So, that's pretty much what I'm going to be able to do for today. But guess what? Tomorrow and, well, the day after are certainly going to prove to be quite special. as they will in fact be the closing chapters in the book of HJN Season 1. After all this time that has passed, man, have I managed to do so much stuff here. But man, I just can't wait to see what happens next. But until then, though, if you want to see more go down on my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.